Thank you, Jack, for your AI expertise and your Fathom note taker. And we hope you all we feel better. Will feel better soon. I mean, having a kid's virus is just no fun. So, Alexa, you
Thank
can
you.
unmute yourself too. Nomi, unmute yourself. I'm hereby calling the meeting to order at 7:45 p.m. on my computer. And thank you, Arthur, for being our Zoom master. Thank you, Alexa, for being our liaison. And thank you, Jack, for providing the note taker. And we have a quorum, so let's start rocking and rolling. Um, First administrative item is to check the AI software to help record this meeting. And Jack, we got yours. And Arthur, you're recording it
Yes,
for
it's
the
being
Zoom.
recorded.
Perfect. And again, many thanks for your help. Is Michael going to be joining us this evening? He said he might. Michael,
He might, but he may or may not come on.
okay. Well, if he doesn't come on, please give him and you my compliments on the Martin's Editions monthly newsletter that just came out this afternoon.
Yeah,
I thought it was really great. Arthur, your piece
Yeah,
on the contractors was really
yes.
informative. And I thought that Jeff Blander's piece just was such a lovely, lovely addition.
good,
And Michael's, manager's report is always good. I just thought it was a really nice issue of the newsletter, and I want to
good.
start with that because that takes some work. And here's Mike Z. We've got
Yeah, you
a
got a
full.
full committee.
Okay, we started called order at 7:45. We've checked our AI software, and the first item is an administrative item to approve the minutes from the November 3 meeting. And Elizabeth, thank you for your edits. Folks, I sent around Elizabeth's edited version of the minutes earlier today. And I think it looks good. So any comments on the minutes?
Well, thank you, Marty, for writing the minutes instead of me doing them.
Well, you were so swamped. Oh my God.
That's all right. Thanks.
Thank you. You got out of town visitors and everything else. Oh my goodness. Glad to
Right.
step in and help. Um,
Okay.
and I have to say, Jack, that your AI notes were really helpful in doing that. And so nice teamwork from everybody. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes SS edited by Elizabeth?
Yes, so moved. So that's titled the revised minutes, November 3,
Revised minutes.
Dutch
Yeah,
Street. Yes,
yeah.
so moved.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Reviewing our work schedule, the next item up on our deliverables is the main item tonight, which is to produce the recommended election regs for the 2026 election using, overwhelmingly the 25 regs, which were pretty darn good. And thank you to the council for that. Um, we have any residents here? I don't see any residents present, so we don't have comments. All right, action item number one. Taking action on the results of the council meeting, including the next steps to hire the voter roll verification contractor. I did ask Michael Silliman if his friend Julian, who did this for us in 2024, might be available. He said he wasn't sure, but he could check. So I'll follow up with Michael on that. And I also have a friend who's worked with the Aspen Institute and can do this kind of thing on, a sort of not in office. I mean, she has a handicapped kid, so she tries to work from home. But she might be able to do this. And with your permission, I might send the scope of work to her to see if she might be interested. I haven't talked to her about it. Does anybody else have anyone that they think might be good at doing this contractor work? Anybody that springs to mind?
Nope.
Okay. Well, the only other question I have is one that came up at the council meeting, which is, Michael has this relationship with the University of Maryland. Here, let me get myself on
Right.
video if I can. Sort of there. Anyway, hi everybody.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought we might ask Michael to send the scope of work to University of Maryland to his team there. Does that sound good to people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Any other options on how we find a contractor?
No.
Okay, so we have the three. Possibly Julian will do it again. Possibly my friend will do it again from the Aspen Institute, or my friend could do it from the Aspen, maybe. I don't know if she's even interested. And then third is University of Maryland. All right, I think we have a consensus on that. We don't need a vote. We'll just proceed on that basis. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now here's the main item on tonight's dinner menu. Report on the call with the VMA attorney, which was very productive. Thank you so much, Arthur, for approving that. It was really helpful. And Nomi, I thought the questions you asked him were just right on and so clarifying. And of course, then you all saw the written report that he provided to us, which was great. I thought it was very clarifying. Any comments on the email that Ron sent us? Any questions about any of that?
Nope.
Okay, it was in the packet, and we did get Ron's permission to put it in the packet. Um, I thought one of the things was really helpful. There's no legal impediments to the proposed changes that were in the draft we're working from tonight of the regs. And we asked him about simplifying the voter roll. He thought it was good as written, and it is doable. There's one simplification that the committee came up with last month that we'll talk about tonight to vote on. And he talked about adding a provision to specify what happens if there are fewer listed candidates than there are open seats. Your draft has that in it. And then, number 4, manager generally shouldn't substantially change any actions taken under the regulations. As long as the committee is complying with the regs, there's no reason for the manager to change anything that we say or do. And in number 5, he did clarify, Ron clarified that there is a potential for conflict of interest, which people have been saying now for a number of years, Paul Weller, among others. And that there's a trend for the municipal managers in the Montgomery County towns to be more hands-off, partly because of that reason, and partly probably efficiency like it is here. So anyway, I thought that Ron's answers and discussion were really helpful. And Nomi, again, thank you. Anything else on that? Okay. Well,
Does,
go ahead.
does it change anything?
No, it just clarifies what we thought.
Okay.
So it's helpful in that sense. And
What he sort of said is there weren't any legal issues, but there were policy issues.
right, and
Right.
that helps because the question of the role of the manager versus the role of the committee is a policy question. He's right about that, I think.
Okay,
So,
so that's
um, and that's one reason we have a policy discussion in an open meeting tonight is because
Mhm.
it's about policy. So,
Right.
okay, okay. Anything else, Mike?
No.
Okay, all right. Nomi, anything?
No, not for me.
Okay, Alexa, any questions or thoughts? Okay, rocking and rolling. Okay,
I
so
do. I have one last question on that.
sure.
I guess it was number 3. What was it, number 3? It's the one that if you didn't have enough candidates.
Yeah, yeah.
And okay, so he said that the answer is basically that you could, I mean, you have write-in candidates, so that presumably you could then go to the write-in candidate with the greatest amount of votes, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, if you
and
have
I
two,
think you said that, or was it in the regulations?
no, it's not in the regulations
Not in
now,
it.
but it's the standard practice
It's
that,
standard.
in
Yeah.
fact, the standard practice with all elections is that the top 3 vote getters get the top 3 seats, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's not anything that we created. That's standard. Um,
Right.
and so, you could conceivably have 3 open seats like there will be this year,
Mhm.
and 3 write-in candidates and 3 um, listed candidates, and all 3 write-ins could be the winners, depending on the number of votes, right? I mean, being a listed candidate is an advantage in terms of campaigning and whatever, just in terms of the
Sure, but it's
mechanics,
no guarantee.
but no guarantee. And Ron
Right.
pointed out that we did in fact have candidates. We always have enough candidates because top write-in candidate would win the 3rd seat.
I see. Okay.
So, now, I did have one change in the draft of this that's in the packet, the draft of our working doc here. I put Ron's language as a new number 12 in section 3, general provisions. I just added it after number 11, but it probably belongs in number 9 on that if you want to flip over to your document. Number 9 is where the general provisions, this is section 3, general provisions.
Well, wait. What are we in,
What are
Marty?
you talking
All
about?
right. All right. Section 3, general
Yep.
provisions.
Okay, got it. In the regulations, right?
Yeah, in number 9 is
Mhm.
where it already talks about write-ins. And I think that rather than sticking Ron's new language, which I thought was fine, his new language is okay, or rather than making it number 12, it really should go up in number 9 and be combined with number 9, because that's the item in the general provisions about write-ins. And I think it fits there very nicely. So
Okay.
I just tacked it in the document as number 12 to put it in so that we could all see what he said, but it goes with number 9, I think.
Well,
Right.
I got a bit of a question about that.
Sure.
What I thought I was talking about here, assuming we have, having been the beneficiary and elected on a write-in ballot
Hmm.
many years ago, um, there were quite a number of votes. I'm assuming that we've always got enough candidates. If we have three open seats and we've got three bona fide people who've been contacted, recommend, and agreed to run, and they're there now, they can be beaten out by a write-in candidate, which is what happened when I was elected.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if this is a question of if we come up with what apparently a vacancy, isn't it? Where's this worded at?
Oh, section 408. If you've got your council, say you got five council members seated, right?
Right,
And one of them gets sick or moves away or something, then you have a council vacancy.
right,
And that's a little different procedure. It's not in section 602, which is the main election procedure in the charter. It's in section 408, if I'm remembering my sections right. And it says that the council shall elect one of at least three names that are provided by the election committee. That's
right,
different than what we do with the general election. In the general
right,
election,
right.
we don't solicit any individuals. We just put out general
No, no.
notices
Okay,
saying,
but
please
that's
run.
that's not my question. Under
Okay, go
number
ahead.
three says, should the regulations include a brief revision to specify the election procedure if VMA has more open council seats than candidates, which means to be going in with three of vacancies and only two running candidates.
Hmm.
I'm not sure I would go with the idea of whoever got the most write-in votes would be the next the elected person. You could have a person with two votes who hadn't even agreed to run. Uh,
Well, they had,
you
yeah,
know,
that is possible. It's unlikely, in the sense that
yeah,
Ron said that basically the the village always has enough candidates because village has always accepted write-ins. So
right.
you have declared candidates who are listed on the ballot, and then you have write-in candidates. They're all candidates. And he said that technically you always have enough candidates to fill three seats because you've got at least one write-in. Now, it is true that
Hmm.
if only two people are declared candidates, the write-in vote could win with a handful of votes.
Right.
That's true, and that's a
What's
weak.
wrong with having a vacancy on the council?
It's less democratic. Um, a vacancy on the council occurs when someone was on the council and steps off. An
Well,
election is a different
okay,
process. In an election, the voters should decide.
okay.
Well,
Well,
Mike, if I can butt in here,
yeah,
there are some of the neighboring municipalities confront this problem by a process, by procedure similar to what we have when we have a vacancy outside of the elections
uh,
season. They call on the election committee to round up some additional candidates, or they
mm,
come up with a list of people, and the council selects from that list people to run. They don't select the candidate; they select
right.
people to run, and so they recognize the the problem that you do is that do you want to have two write-ins select a council member? So there are other ways to have to generate candidates.
Mhm.
So that would require a second election. Would
Right.
it a
No, no, it
follow-on?
would require a separate procedure whereby the council would select candidates from a list provided by the election committee. The
Right.
election committee says, we don't have candidates, but here's a lot of likely looking folks out there. Choose from this list.
Yeah,
So
one of
do,
the, go
so
ahead.
wait, so do they, following up on Elizabeth's question, do they then run
Yeah, they
for,
then run. They are then
Well,
full-fledged
well, that
candidates.
was
so
my
we would have a
question.
second election process?
Yeah, that would require a double election process, the original election plus then you got, and as Ron pointed out, we already have candidates. We have write-in candidates. And so it's not the case that we
Not
have,
necessarily. The write-ins could be totally against running.
Yeah.
well, I understand the standard procedure is you go to the top vote getting write-in and ask them, are you willing to serve? If they say no, you go to the next top getting, but voters decide, elections, the best practice is that voters decide rather than have council members appointed by the existing council members.
So could we ask voters to ask
Huh.
folks before they submit their name for a write-in?
Absolutely. We can put that in the in our public
Right.
information.
So they have to agree to run before they're candidated by running, by
Right.
write-in.
Right, right. I mean, again, it's not something that we can enforce in the sense of
No,
literal enforcement, but we can certainly say, if you want to nominate your next door neighbor as a write-in candidate, please be sure they're willing to serve. I mean, we could
right,
tell people that.
right,
If we get a write-in candidate who gets 10 votes, maybe and gets a third seat, then and they don't want to serve, well, then we go to the next write-in who got 8 votes. All right. We've had write-ins get as many as 40 votes. So it's and of course Mike Zielinski, you won as a write-in, so you know
I
how that
do.
works. What the committee needs to be careful of is that we don't recruit individuals because that looks like
Right.
favoritism, and we need to really toe that line. So when there's an election where the voters are going to make the decision, the election committee is really strictly bound to just do generic information for the election to say, please run. It's a great thing to do. It's a good community service. But the only time we can actually solicit an individual to run or to serve on the council is in the vacancy regulations, right? Where we are required in the council to come up with 3 names and the council picks them rather than them being elected by the voters. So the normal procedure is that we do not solicit individuals at all. Um,
right.
and I think that's important because of favoritism and bias being an
Right,
issue, I mean, a concern for some people. So
right.
So what,
other comment?
so
Go
what's
ahead.
the proposal though? You're suggesting that we add some language to
Yeah, Ron
item,
gave us the
item
language.
9,
Yeah,
just as he wrote it?
yeah, he wrote it, and I put it in as number 12 just to get it into our doc here to look at tonight. But it probably should just be combined with number 9 above, which talks about write-ins already.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay. I was comparing the one you circulated with the one we had from before, and I said, oh, okay. I checked all the differences, but I didn't pick up there was a new 12. Was that in red?
Yeah, it was in red.
Okay. I missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A quick question. So are the options essentially, say there's 3 open slots and 2 candidates, the options are either to identify a candidate that you could put on the ballot or allow the candidate with the greatest number of write-ins who is not listed on the ballot to serve?
Well, right now we can't do the first one. In a general election, we cannot solicit any individual to be on the ballot. We can only solicit everybody who wants to run to run. So we would have to, under the current regs, we would have to just go with whoever the write-ins were. And we could make the adjustment that was suggested a minute ago, which is telling people if you're going to write in your next door neighbor, be sure to ask the next door neighbor if they're going to serve, don't
Right.
make them.
Could you broadly solicit candidates in advance so that their names appeared on the ballot?
We do that already, Jack. That's a standard procedure. We do a lot of election info. You'll see that coming up shortly, starting with the nomination period in February, where we ask people, to run, and we give people reasons why it's helpful to run and what they might gain from it. So yeah, we do the general solicitation quite
Wait,
thoroughly.
but we as an election committee cannot do that.
Right now, no, we could not put people's names on the ballot. They have to put
Right.
their own names on the
And
ballot.
we can't recruit
We can't
candidates.
recruit individuals. We can only recruit generically to say,
Got it.
please put your name in. Okay? Good
So,
questions.
okay, so if there's 2 candidates for 3 open seats, you just run the election and whoever gets the most write-in votes wins.
And we do a lot of public information about that, noting that, we have 2 candidates for 3 open seats, which means the write-in would get the next seat, the highest total, which is the democratic thing to do. You let the voters decide elections.
It seems weird to me that we're just doing the candidate selection after, like, we're choosing someone who didn't initially agree to run.
Well, we don't choose. The committee doesn't choose. The voters choose.
I mean, we as in the community.
Yeah, that's the fallback position. And it,
You-
it is more democratic than having the council appoint someone to serve.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, there are other methods out there that are used.
A second election, like you were just saying, Arthur.
Well,
Uh,
or you come up with a bunch of names and you present them from the council and say, pick from these some candidates, and then they run. It's kind of like
Yeah.
impressment. It's like the British used to do when they climbed aboard a vessel and
It took the seaman by
took the
captain.
seamen. Yeah,
Impressed into
whether you
service.
like it or not, you're running.
Right. Yeah. The simplest thing is
Well,
to just go with the write-ins.
Well, I see. I don't agree with that, frankly. But
Okay.
well, because you're saying the voters choose. Well, the voters, 98% of the voters didn't choose anything with respect to that write-in candidate. There were three people that actually just wrote a name in, and they didn't vote on it. They didn't choose anybody. They didn't choose. I guess, like, in a broad sense, they chose not to put a write-in name in. But beyond, sanctioning an election for somebody with maybe got three votes is kind of silly to me. It's not a procedure I agree. I
Yeah, I
think we'd
agree
be
with
better off with a different procedure and maybe look at something else that something like Arthur was talking about.
I agree with Mike. I think as someone new to the community, I would rather people who know how the community operates suggest people who would be good in this role versus allowing a small, like if I saw somebody pop up who's now on council because 5 or 10 people in the community got together and decided they were gonna write in that person and
Hmm.
and clearly there weren't a lot of write-ins, that
Right.
would feel a bit
Yeah.
surreptitious to me.
Again, you
Well,
might want to survey other possibilities that are out there uh,
mhm.
to see what might come out. You know, I just remind you that almost every election, Mickey Mouse gets 2 or 3 or 4 votes. So,
That hasn't
No,
been true in recent
but
years,
the
Arthur.
most transparent option would be to have a runoff election or a second election
Right.
for the write-in candidates.
Right.
In all of the write-in candidates, perhaps, I don't know, right?
And we can do that, absolutely.
I
That
mean,
the
that would
runoff
be the
election.
fairest, most transparent, and that would then allow the residents to pick the one that they thought was the most qualified, correct?
The only downside to that is that it's actually not a tie. You only do a runoff election when you have a
Well,
tie.
okay, the runoff may not be the word. It's a follow-up election.
You'd have to have a second one. Now that could be
Yeah,
expensive, right? We
well,
should we should be cost effective about this too. I mean, there's pluses and minuses, but
mhm.
the I think that I mean I think that Ron's solution is the simplest. You have candidates. Some of them
Mhm.
are declared and listed, and some of them are undeclared and write-ins. And our job as a committee, I think, is number one to get out the generic recruitment info in such persuasive ways, starting in February when the nomination period opened, that we really need to have three candidates. And we've always had enough candidates for the seats. I mean, I don't remember an election where we didn't have at least three candidates for three seats. It's nice to have four or five, but sometimes we've had six or seven. But our job as a committee is to really encourage people to run so that we don't get into the situation in the first place. And then the second thing would be, as part of our publicity in January and February, which is coming up soon, to say to people, here's the deal. This is the standard procedure, and it's not great. Somebody could win a seat with 5 votes. So put your name in and actually be a listed candidate and step up and run. That I think is the more positive remedy that we take it as our responsibility, which it is to encourage people in such ways that we actually get enough candidates listed to run for the seats. This is not, by the way, a problem just in Martin's Additions. There are many, many small towns where it's difficult to get candidates for many different reasons. And again, in terms of the literature on elections, the democratic process is that the top three vote getters get the seats, period, paragraph. But yes, it is possible that you could do a second election. I just think it's really complicated and would cost us another $10,000 unless we somehow did it
Well,
in-house.
maybe that much.
I would be opposed to a second election, but I would be in favor of finding some way to identify candidates in advance.
Well, we do that. We do that. We encourage people to put their names in, and if they nominate their next door neighbor, they have to have permission. I mean, all that is the nomination process, and they have a month to nominate people. It starts in mid-February, and the candidates have to send in their paperwork in March. So that process is pretty thorough, and our job as a committee is to make it persuasive to get three candidates at least to step up this year.
Well, let me say that the way this is worded, if you took Ron's actual quoted language, uh, he counsels that if the number of open council seats is greater than the number of candidates listed on the ballot, in that situation, you'd be going into an election with not enough candidates to fill all the open seats, and it would be apparent that you
Oh,
could
right.
tell people, write-in candidates are allowed.
This is your
under,
opportunity to do a write-in,
your
yes.
opportunity to do candidates, and you can run for it. If you can write yourself in or talk other people writing you in, you might be able to be elected. But at least people would know it going in that situation. I
That I think
suppose
is
it's
the right way
also
to go.
pretty rare that we're, as you said,
Yeah.
that hasn't happened. So maybe we're talking about hypotheticals that,
Yeah, I think since
uh,
the village has been holding election, this has never occurred. This is
right.
a hole that presumably does not have to be filled tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, contingency planning is good, but you know, I think that going with Ron's language and having our own understanding as a committee that we would, if this situation did happen, we would tell people this is a write-in opportunity, and we would really publicize that because we as a committee do the election notices and the election info. So that's something we do have control over is getting
Yeah.
that word out.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm okay with that for now, I
all right,
guess.
yeah. And again, we can get more creative down the road. We're not the last election committee in Martin's Additions by a long shot. Okay.
So
I just,
Marty, just to clarify on that last
mhm.
thing, we as a committee can put announcements out that write-in candidates are encouraged or whatever. If it turns out you have less than the required number of candidates for open position.
Absolutely. We
But we
can put out
cannot,
those.
we ourselves cannot go out and drum up business. I mean, talk
We
talk to
can't
people.
recruit anybody individually. No,
Right.
no, but
Okay.
we can certainly put the word out that this is a write-in opportunity, you
Mhm.
know. So, and let people know, I mean, we are very good, I think, this committee, in the last couple of years at least, and I'm sure we will be too, about putting out a lot of good, informative, notices and announcements and stuff, good newsletter articles. So all of this stuff. I mean, our job in this section, I think, is information.
Mhm.
The nomination period starts in mid-February, and we've got between now and then to think about what happens if we don't get enough listed nominees. Uh,
Mhm.
But
okay,
can I add one more question here? I don't
sure.
understand what the point of is adding that paragraph 12. That's there. It's always been there. It's implicit in the regulations and
No,
the code. What's the point of inserting it?
Well,
wasn't.
Ron said that he thought we didn't have to,
Yeah. It's
but that we,
implicit. It's there. It's always been there. It's always been this statement.
yeah, I think it has been implicit. But one of the things we do when you write regs, I think you know this, Arthur, because you've done some of this yourself, is you want to make things absolutely as clear as possible. So things that were understood or actually get written down, just so that your protocols are out there in the open. So I don't think there's any harm in adding Ron's clarifying language. I mean, he said it wasn't legally necessary, and I think you and I agree on that. But I don't think there's any harm in putting it in if it clarifies it for the process for voters and future staff and council members and committee members. Why not include it? We want to be as specific as we can so that this is a roadmap for future elections. So I don't have any objection to doing it, even though I don't think it's necessary either.
Hmm.
Okay. Right. I wanted to talk about that specifically because that came up in Ron's comments in response to a question that came up at the council meeting in November. So anyway, that's why we're having this discussion. I think the way to proceed with the document here tonight to be efficient is to just walk through it section by section and do a committee vote on the changes as efficiently as we can. Um, and if there are any that people have comments on, um, we can pause to discuss.
Marty,
Go ahead.
are you jumping ahead to the regulations review or
Yeah, I'm jumping ahead the regulations review. I'm
okay,
moving from Ron's stuff to the
what
regulations
about
review.
action item 3 and 4 or what? We'll do that later.
I'm looking at the agenda. Um, Action item 2, report on the call with the VMA attorney. We did that. And then
Yeah.
vote on reading recommended updates to the election
Oh,
regs.
okay.
We're
All
showing
right. I
number
see.
2 here,
Yeah, it
right?
was a
And
continuation.
I'm
Okay.
suggesting an efficient process to simply vote on each item section by section and move through the document because we all looked at this already.
Yeah, I thought
And
we did that. Didn't we do it last meeting? We went through
Yeah.
it.
we had a conversation, a discussion about it for the content, and we had a pretty much consensus on it. So I think we can do the actual votes tonight. Tonight's when we have to actually legally vote on this stuff. But I think we
All
can
right.
just do the votes section by section and do it pretty efficiently. So if we could do that, all right. First changes are in I'm looking at the regs now. This is the official vote, so Elizabeth, thank you for recording this, and Jack, thank you for having it on the AI too. Um, Section 2, village election process, item 2, two changes. The item in red says supervise the operational election work of the contractors, and then there's a strikeout of the obsolete language about absentee balloting. Are there any objections to either of those two changes in section 2, number 2?
No.
No,
All in favor, please say aye.
aye.
All right.
Okay, we got a unanimous vote on that. Going to section 3, number 3. This was the language we talked about last month about just again, this goes back to Arthur's notion about, it's implicit. This is the standard procedure. The
Marty,
staff, yeah.
could I request that we move item by item and then provide context if there's
If there's
disagreement or
questions.
an ask for greater description?
Efficiency is good. All right.
Thank you.
Item 3, number 3, in red. Are there any objections to that proposed language?
No,
No.
All right, let's vote. All in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Okay. The next change is still section 3. All right, number 9, which is to add Rod's clarifying language, not legally required, but probably good to include, if you all think so, about write-in candidates. All right, so all in favor, or is there any objection to putting in Ron's clarifying language?
No,
All in
No
favor,
objection.
please say aye.
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 All right, all okay. All right, nothing in section 4. Go down to section 5, nothing in section 5. Section 6, procedure for voting, number 4. This is the first place we have this two-step process where the committee has to instruct the village manager to direct the contractor to mail the ballot packets. And we talked a lot about this last time. I think one of the main concerns there is that
There was,
traditionally,
can I interject something? I thought on five, part 2, there is some red phraseology that's been put in there.
Maybe required.
oh, sorry,
Must.
good catch, yeah. And you saw the note in the margin, the comment about why that's required?
Mm. Yeah.
Any objection to it?
Nope.
All right, all in favor of that change in section 5, number 2?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you for catching that. All right, down to section 6, number 4, instruct the village manager to direct the contractor to mail the ballot packets.
Those
Objection?
are all, there are 14 of these, right?
There are 14 of those, and the
Because
main
we
objection is
treat
that
them
you
as
can treat them all
a
as one.
group.
Absolutely. They're all about having the staff involved in issuing ballots.
Right.
All right.
So,
Any objections to striking that?
And the other 14, the other 13 places.
The other 13?
Yeah, no objection here.
Anybody else got an objection to striking that?
No,
All
No.
right, then let's do a vote. All in favor of all 14 changes, please say aye.
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 All right, unanimous on that. Okay, again, we have that in the same section 6, number 7. All right, instruct the manager, number 8, instruct the manager. Okay, nothing in section Roman numeral 7. Get down to section Roman numeral 8. And this was just a clarification. That the committee makes the announcement of the candidates and the staff notifies people by posting it on the committee. So this is just a technical cleanup. Any objections?
Nope.
no,
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Section number 9, election forum. There's a change from 10 business days to 10 calendar days. Any objections?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor, please vote.
aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, thank you. Then we have in section 10, more instruct the managers in several different places in item 4, item 5. The change here in red is in section 10, Roman numeral 10, 6F. And
Right.
this is about printing the elections committee's address on the return envelopes.
Right.
Okay, any objections to that?
Nope.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. 7 and 8, we have instruct the manager again. And then next section, section Roman numeral 11, number 1. We have two corrections. In the first line, it says no less than 2 weeks after election day. And then in the last sentence of that section, number 11, number 1, says the village manager records the vote counting session. Michael told us that he now does that. So that's just a correction for accuracy. And the first one is that people also correction for accuracy, as you saw in the little comments. Are there any objections to either of those changes?
No.
Okay. All in favor of the changes in section 11, number 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. In section 11, number 4, B, the suggestion was to add the word complete the initial vote count because the final vote count comes after the ballot curing. This is just a clarification, not a big deal. Any objections to making that clarification?
No.
Okay. Anyone else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nothing on the rest of that through section Roman numeral 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. All right, then we have some more instruct the village managers in Appendix A. And there's one other change in Appendix A. I looked at this, to think about how to simplify it. And the only thing I could see, and we asked Ron, of course, how to simplify this voter verification procedure, and he didn't have any ideas. The one I found was if you go to Appendix A, Section C, voter roll verification process, small d, it's the item 2D, where you see there's strikeout of send an annual notice to each voter by first-class mail.
Yeah.
And that just saves us from mailing 625 letters, which is an unnecessary cost and burden. We only mail the letters, these notifications to people who we can't verify. Any comments on that?
No.
Any objections? We still do the second half of that sentence, use the return mail to help identify people who may no longer be residents. That's a standard thing. The state and the county do that too. But the requirement to send an annual notice to each voter, 625 people, that's not necessary.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Any comments on that? Okay. Any objections to the change?
No.
All in favor, please vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's one simplification. We were able to simplify the regs there. All right, then you go down through that. The only other change is a minor thing. If you go down to section number 4, this is C number 4F. It's the bottom of the next page. This is just an accuracy thing. It says that mail the notice to the people who have been removed from the voter roll and include info describing the challenge process set forth below. Well, it's just a postcard, so it's just information about. We're not actually describing it. The challenge process is sort of, would take more than a postcard.
Okay.
Any comments or objections about that
Well,
change?
Marty, you skipped over E. There
What
was
an
a
E.
21 days instead of
Oh
30
my
days.
goodness. Again, thank you for catching that. I marked here in red on my thing. Yeah, 21 days. Any objections to that? Any comments on that?
No.
No.
Okay. All in favor, please vote.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, so that's approved. The 21 days. That's just, practical. And then in F, the about. All right, changing describing to about. Any objections?
No.
All right,
No.
let's
It's
vote.
just
All in favor.
editing.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we have more instruct the village managers. And I think that's it we have one more in E, adding to the voter roll.
Mhm.
Okay. This is the same one we did earlier. Instead of saying that voters who want to be added must sign that committee form, it says they may be required to. Same thing we did before. Any objections?
No.
All in favor?
No.
Okay. All in favor, please vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. And then it's just instruct manager, instruct manager. Okay, and in the last part, which is Appendix B, the form procedure, I didn't see any changes there. Correct?
What? Where are
Yeah, though there is Appendix B number 1, 10 business day,
Ah,
calendar days
Yeah.
versus business day.
right. Good catch. Um, any objections to changing that?
Yeah.
We did earlier, so we might as well make it consistent here. All in favor, please
you?
say
Aye.
aye.
I,
So election board procedure number 1, line 1. Business days becomes calendar days. Okay,
So,
we're done. Okay. Thank you all for your attention and for both last month and this month and going through that efficiently. And thank you, Jack, for the suggestion about just moving right through. Um, I have only 2 other questions that came up in my conversations with people. One is from Larry Watson from last year, thought that the regs should include some kind of contingency sentence that says, in the event something unexpected happens, the election committee is authorized to use its collective judgment to handle a situation. Something like that. He didn't give us language. Do we need to add a contingency provision? We haven't
no,
had it, but if we don't need to, you know.
no,
no, it's so open-ended.
Yeah, it's so open-ended, right? Yeah. And obviously, if something comes up, we're going to deal with it. So, hey,
We
we
could
got 5
declare an
smart people.
emergency and then we could do anything we wanted.
Oh
Right.
God, don't
Sounds
even go
familiar.
there, Mike. I am not Trump,
Hey.
and I'm not going to have a Trumpian committee. We do not declare emergencies just to give ourselves free rein.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and then the other question I had was from another resident who said, where does it specify the election committee's internal procedures? Like, that we have to elect officers and that the election committee votes to approve any of these, um, election notices and announcements that, of course, we do. We have a committee vote on even the Friday weekly wrap-up updates. I mean, we vote on everything. She said, where is that spelled out? And it's not. And
Well,
I don't
it's
know.
in the committee handbook.
Yeah, the committee guidelines say that. So that's covered, even though it's not in these regs, we
Right.
are subject to the committee guidelines, right? We
Yeah.
are. So Arthur, are we covered in your
I
view?
believe so. Yeah.
yeah.
So no need to spell that out by adding that language here.
Well,
Those are the only 2
it's,
outside suggestions I got.
that's not technically about the election.
Right.
It's about the individuals that serve on the committee. So it's a different subject, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. And we're working on this sort of committee document of sort of the election instruction manual, and we can put it in there because that's like an internal committee process. But
Mhm.
I thanked the neighbor who said, where's that spelled out, and said I would bring it up. And it seems to me we're pretty clear we have a consensus that we don't need to spell out here, and it's probably not appropriate here. Okay. Anything else to add that hasn't been mentioned? In which case we need, if there's not any additional suggestions, we need to have an overall official formal committee vote to adopt the recommended 2026 regulations as amended this evening. Um, we need to vote on the entire document.
Yeah.
So would someone like to make a motion to approve this document as amended by the committee this evening?
So move.
Mike moves. Is there a second?
A second,
Second. Okay.
Naomi seconds. Okay. All in favor of adopting the document as a whole with the amendments incorporated, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, unanimous. Done. Thank you, guys. Next piece is kind of simple, I think, although it might not be simple in practice. Number 3, review the election info posted on our election committee page on the village website. Michael's willing to help us clean that up a little bit, and I know Mike Z, this is near and dear to your heart because I can think of a couple ways to clarify that language. Mike, did you take a look at it and see if there was
Well,
anything?
I did. I looked at my old thing that I wrote back a year ago, and
Mhm.
when I tried to do it, go through the website a year ago, I got steered in 3 different directions. It was very
Mhm.
confusing to me. I did it again recently, and I think some of that stuff has been corrected at least because I got the initial steer that I got. I think there was something under governance that took me to an election committee, which then had different. It was hard to track down what the regs were. And when I went this time, that missteer or the misdirection was no longer there. So you had to go to election committee. Then under election committee, it had everything pretty chronological. Um, so I thought things had been looked at and maybe clarified some, but I haven't examined it further to see whether there'd be further changes that would be recommended.
Yeah. I do have one. I looked at it too. And yeah, it
Okay.
is better. It is better than it was. No question about that. And Michael, has been working, I think to update the web pages for various committees and is certainly willing to work with us to improve ours. I
Mhm.
think that one of the pieces that's missing here is, these election committee reports that we do every month, mostly in writing. I mean, sometimes verbal, but mostly in writing. Um, they are in the council meeting packets, and I think it would be a really useful thing since there's a lot of important information in those election committee reports that we do at the monthly meetings, the council meetings. That the columns at the bottom where it has like agenda and minutes
Yeah,
and recording,
packet. Yeah.
yeah, packet and recording. Why not just put an extra column in there that links to that month's committee report to the council? I mean, that would make them real accessible, which they aren't now. People don't find them because they were back in
Right.
the packet
Right.
for the council meeting. Does that sound
Right.
like something we should do?
Sure.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anything else that people had? Okay. Well, Jack, I would like to nominate you to take the lead on this project, and suggest that we all basically give our notes to Mike Z, and authorize Mike Z to sit down with Michael S. and proceed from there. But we don't need to decide this tonight. We just needed to get the process going. Um,
What do you
and
mean, our notes,
Yeah.
Marty?
oh,
Yeah, I'm not following that.
if you have any other changes, Elizabeth, that you'd like to make in the way
Oh,
that
okay.
the layout of the election committee page is,
Okay, well, maybe the assignment is we all go have a look, a good look, and give,
that's a
come back. Yeah,
better
I
way to do
haven't,
the assignment.
yeah,
And then
it's been a few
coordinate.
months since I did that, so I need to go have
Yeah,
another look.
yeah. I agree. The committee assignment is for all of us. We'll all take a look at the layout of that page. We've agreed on one change, which is to include the committee monthly reports to the council in an
Reports.
extra column.
Mhm.
That's one we decided tonight, so that's done.
Yes.
But if you have any others, I mean, this is the time to sort of look at it and think what would make this really the most useful to somebody trying to find out information, possibly a
Mhm.
potential candidate. We want to make it easy for people to run. It should be easy for them to get election information.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
Well, okay, so things like the publicity around the election, the call for, the various documents that go out, like the request
mhm,
for nominations and the
mhm.
election forum information and all of that. Where does that
It's
not
not
get?
for, it doesn't get posted on the web page, and
Mhm,
maybe it should, because that's where people would normally go to look first. So yeah, that's a great idea, I think, but
mhm,
I'm saying that let's just consolidate these ideas, and
mhm.
um and I'm asking Mike Z to kind of just be our lead on that
Okay, so
project.
that's an action item for the next meeting? Is that what this is?
Come back. Yeah, come back. Everybody take a look at the layout, see what would make it easier for people to use.
Mhm.
Easier and clearer is our motto on this.
Committee assignment is what it is.
Yes, committee assignment for all of us. And Mike, have you graciously accepted the lead on this?
I guess if it's collecting the information at the next meeting, sure.
Okay,
Then
thank
we can
you.
go forward. I can talk to Michael about it, sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So Mike Z is the lead. Thank you for that. Um, Number 4, if there's nothing else on the website page, um, update the progress on our draft of the election instruction manual. And guys, I'm still working on that. Jack's Chat GPT piece was very useful. I'm trying to fill in the blanks, and it's a slow process. I keep getting diverted to go do other things, and I apologize for my slowness on not getting that to you. But that may be an item for our next meeting. I'll try to do it in January to have it for you. Sort of that's the internal, election mechanics stuff that like
Yeah, that's a
that
big job.
it is a big
Big job.
job. And again, Jack's GPT notes really help, but it's the kind of thing that the entire committee will need to weigh in on starting probably next month if I can manage to get a draft to you by then, which I will endeavor to do. Okay, any other questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. Number 5, we are ripping right through this. Committee report for the December council meeting. The December council meeting is when we as a committee officially present the draft election regs for 2026 to the council to introduce at the meeting. And then there's a 30-day public comment period. And then the council, one hopes, will adopt them at the January meeting. That's the standard procedure. Alexa, do you have your hand up with a question?
Yes, it's maybe a minute late, but in terms of clarity, general observation, whenever you guys send out information, particularly when there's several pages, I notice that you never do page numbers,
Ah,
and that would be really helpful to keep everything in place. But
okay.
maybe there's a reason that you don't do that.
I think it's just time, but yeah, that's certainly doable.
Yeah.
Add
Because-
page
okay.
numbers to our election committee docs that go public, all our public docs. Okay.
Okay.
No reason not to do that. That's just administrative. Anyone object to that?
No.
No.
Okay, will do. Will do.
Thank you.
Oh, easy. Ask us something hard, Alexa.
I'll work on it.
Okay. All right. Committee report. If you look at the December committee reports for the last couple of years, 24 and 25, the committee had the document, right, that we were proposing that the council introduce and then the council adopts it in January. And we also have a markup, right? So you have the clean document, you have a markup, those two pieces. And then there was generally a fairly lengthy, like several pages, committee explanation as to why, the committee was recommending this or that, or, fix this or change that, whatever. This year we have our markup has commentary in it, the little comment about, bubbles that are along the whole margin there. And I think we could probably shorten our committee report considerably by simply referring to the fact that there are these various technical corrections and clarifications, and just addressing like the substantive issue, which is the one about instruct the village manager to XYZ. And keep it shorter. Keep our sort of intro report shorter and just have the two documents, the clean document and the markup. The
Yeah.
markup would have the commentary in it. Does that make sense to people? What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
The comment section over on the right margin, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
by
Those
commentary.
comment bubbles
Right.
would be part of our markup that we're submitting to the council. We're giving the
Yeah.
council two versions of the document, a
Yeah,
clean version
right.
with the changes and then the markup
Yeah,
version.
so it would look like what we're looking at today, pretty much,
Mhm.
right? Right.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I had a question about the posting for comments, when that happens to the,
Yeah. That
is
was a
that-
big issue last year. Yeah.
and,
And this was put the election report, the committee's December election
Uh-huh.
report should get posted on the election committee page. Because that's an official document recommending policy for the council. And so that goes up there. Right now, the 2026 section of the page at the top has the election schedule, which the council's already approved. And it will next have this December report from the committee. That's the next piece that goes in there. And that needs to get posted basically the day after the council meeting in December, because people have this 30-day public comment period. And last year there were two problems with that. I think you're recalling them, Elizabeth. First, that the document itself that we're asking people to comment on didn't go up for a week, and then it was 2 weeks before there was a notice in the Friday Weekly Wrap Up that said there was even existed a public comment period on this. And there was also a problem that the link didn't to it. The first reference to it didn't have the link to the document. We asked people for comments and the link didn't work. So this is all, sort of administrative stuff, but it's important because people have 30 days to review the election regs for their village, and that's an important civil right. So, hey,
oh, Marty, so you're asking for putting it out for anyone who'd care to comment on the draft regulations, the marked up version. Is that correct?
yeah, that would our December committee report will include the markup draft
Yeah,
and the clean version.
clean draft. And that's
And
what
it'll-
we're asking comments from the village residents on.
And we should have a piece ready to go, our election committee update
Mhm.
ready to go for the Friday wrap up the day after the December council meeting to
Right.
let people know that the public comment period is now starting, and here's the link to the documents to review. So that needs to happen this year much more efficiently than it did last year. But, that's doable. It's administrative. It's doable. Does
So
that
the
make sense?
day, so December 12th,
Yeah, well, the council meeting is
is the
December
11th.
11th. So the Friday wrap up is the 14th, and we should post the proposed 2026 regs on the 12th. That should go up on the website on our page. And in the Friday weekly wrap up, or we could even do a standalone announcement saying on the 12th that the proposed regulations for the election for 2026 are now posted on the website here. We could insert link, and yeah, so the 12th, that's Friday the 12th. Yeah, is what we're aiming for.
So then the council is not going to vote on the final version until January, after any comments come in from the public.
Correct.
That's how it works, okay?
That's how it works. They have 30 days. People have 30. And last year, I mean, part of the reason the committee got a little upset last year is that people only had 2 weeks because there was no announcement of the public comment period
Yeah,
at the time.
right,
So we
right.
could fix that this year pretty easily. Does that make sense to other folks?
Yeah,
Yep.
So what I can do is put together a draft committee report, which will be shorter. They'll have these two attachments to it, the markup plus the clean doc. And I'll run that by you guys as soon as I can get it written. And again, feel free to edit. This is your document. And we should just aim for real clarity. And that's the committee report. If we have, by that time, a vote verification contractor, our committee report to the council should say, yeah, we got a contractor, we're getting ready to rock and roll, because the the voter roll verification process starts in January. So we
Mhm.
want to get that contractor, in place to help us sooner rather than later. But other than that, it should be a pretty simple committee report for December 11th. The main issue is here are our recommendations for the 26 election regs.
Mhm. Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
So
Any other-
that doesn't need a whole nother, I mean, it's just a cover memo basically for the regs. So it shouldn't need a lot of discussion or justification or anything like that, right?
Exactly. I'm thinking we should keep it as simple as we can.
Right.
And I'll run a draft by you, and if there's any way you could see to simplify or
Okay.
clarify
All
it,
right.
feel free. I'm
Okay.
always up for that. We've
Sure.
got some good editors on this team, which is really nice. Um, Anything else on the election committee report for the December 11th meeting? All right, since that's coming up in 10 days, I will endeavor to get that draft to you ASAP. Next couple of days, I hope. Anything else?
No.
Okay, moving on to number 6. Any other election issues that may need our attention tonight? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Alexa, here's your opportunity to ask a tough question.
If somebody raises their hand, you really look at them, Brad.
I would smile and welcome
that
what they said, because I
class?
mean, if there are ways to improve this or simplify it, hey, we're all for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anything, Arthur? Any comments? No?
Well, yeah, there is one. What will be very important to have in hand will be the what does your council do? That document.
Yep.
And
ready
the
to
second
go.
document will be the thing that Jeff Blander was supposed to draft on how was the money spent.
Yeah, he has a draft on that
Right.
he and Michael will work. I don't know if you've seen it.
We
No,
saw,
we haven't. I haven't.
Yeah, ask Alexa. Thank you for following up with Jeff on this, and Arthur also. And I thought Jeff had sort of a prototype at the council meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were some
Two
pie
pie-
charts or
with the
something.
pie charts.
Mhm.
So if you guys could, Alexa and Arthur both, encourage Jeff to, send that to the committee. If we had anything on it that we thought wasn't going to be clear for voters or whatever, we would let you guys know. Obviously, thank you for letting us have some input on that. But basically, those two one-pagers,
Mhm.
should both be ready for us to distribute publicly at the time that we announce the opening of the nominations, which is mid-February. So, and we could put them out sooner. I mean, there's no reason that those
Yeah.
have to wait till
Yeah,
February.
he was he was planning to have a final version at the next council meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
That
good,
works.
great.
Okay. Putting here, Jeff B's one pager.
He's actually 2 pages. There's one graphics page and one brief text page, as I recall.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so next council meeting. And that will work with the committee's timing. Okay. And again, Arthur, I want to commend you and thank you for the write-up that you did on the contractors
Yeah.
in this month's newsletter. It was really, really interesting and helpful.
Well, there was a chart there that I put together that
Yeah,
I've never put that together. Nobody's ever put that together, just a listing by contractor.
yeah, it was great.
And I thought, I've never seen this before. I
That
thought
was-
it was interesting just to look at it, to see who are we paying and how much, and how
Yeah.
are they ranked.
Immensely useful information. It brings the practicality right down to earth to people.
Yeah.
This is what it takes to run a village. It's not just a bunch of people knitting. It's like, this is, you got all these responsibilities, and it just really was important. And I thought it was great. I really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
That's I think was the whole impetus behind last year's committee's effort to sort of get a council job description, get the financial pie charts. I mean, just to sort of like make this stuff real for people. And we think as a committee, we agree, last year's committee agreed too, that this kind of practical info does help in terms of getting people to run for office. It's not so mysterious. And it's pretty cool thing to do. So thank you. Any other comments from the committee on any of these issues?
No,
Alexa? Okay.
Not
Arthur?
specifically, no.
Okay. Again, you're welcome to comment anytime. Get in touch with us anytime. We always like your input and we appreciate your thoughtfulness. And we have no residents here tonight, so we can go straight to the committee assignments.
We've got
Basically, the
I made a
entire
note.
committee
One,
assigned
was Mike Z would gather our comments on improvements to the EC webpage. So we should all have a look at that and see if, if anything can be added to it, right? That was one. These are things that I jotted down. Marty, you said you would prepare a draft committee report for our review in the next few days this is for the December.
The
for the
December
council.
council meeting, our
Yeah.
committee. Yep, I will do
Right.
that.
And then the one we just mentioned about Alexa, was it Alexa was going to
Yes.
follow up with Jeff Blander
Mhm.
or
Do you
Jeff
need me to
said-
do
Jeff
that?
said-
Could be, I thought we just said that,
You would have
Jeff was gonna present at the next council meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Okay.
that Jeff's already got that. So Alexa, you already did your job on that.
All
when you
right,
talked to him last
okay.
month. Thank you.
So there's no follow-up there. We'll just be watching for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think that's good. Any other assignments? Okay, team. It is 8:49 p.m. Yeah. We are done in an hour. May we have a motion to adjourn? Our next meeting is January 5th. And at that time, we will look over any comments that people have sent in about the proposed election regs. And we have our plan of action. So I think we're ready to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right.
Aye,
Moved and
aye,
seconded.
aye, aye.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
hi.
Okay.
Okay,
In
thank
an
you,
hour.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
job.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank
We hope you
you.
feel